Hello, everyone. Dr. Melissa Tranquil here. How are you doing today? Welcome to episode 66 of 15 Minutes Straight Talk. Can you believe it? Episode 66. That's awesome. Really, really awesome. It's been a wonderful journey. For those of you who don't know, I am a business coach and I work with coaches who want to set up and launch their coaching business. And I show them how to make their business more profitable. I'm also a law of attraction coach and I interject that also in persons I work with who wants to build a coaching business. However, 15 minutes straight talk is not just dedicated to business. It's just 50 minutes of straight talk on all sorts of different topics because come on, we are human beings, right? Life is not all about business only, right? It's not only about the professional. You've got to find that balance. And hence, this is the reason why 15 minutes straight talk is not just about business and what I do with my coaching clients. My approach is completely different to other live videos that just focus on exclusively, which is awesome, on giving great content as it pertains to their niche. I do so as well, but I mix things up a bit and I make it more balanced. So that's why today's topic is about how to achieve a balanced family life. So who's joining me live? Come in and say hello. If you're new, let me know where you're joining from. If you're watching the replay, thank you, all of you joining me live on the replay. Thank you for sharing your time with me today. Good morning, Chantorial, my lovely. How are you doing? So glad you could be here. How is everything going? I'm sure you're getting things ready for your seminar on Saturday. I'm rooting for you that all goes well. And I want to give persons just one more minute to come in because today's topic, it's going to blow your mind. I'm going to give you 5 steps in 15 minutes to achieve a balanced family life. And if you join this live video or if you watch the replay and this is something that you struggle with, I can guarantee you that after you've done these steps that I'm about to give you, you will achieve a more balanced family life. I don't need to take an hour to teach this to you. I don't need to take 2 hours to teach it to you. I can give it to you concise, straight to the point in 15 minutes. So let's see if we can get, I can see some persons on Facebook watching me. Stick around. Let's see if we can get one more person joining us live on LinkedIn. One more person, one more. Yes, yes. I can see someone from YouTube, Affirm Live. Jonathan, welcome. Glad you're here. Stick around, Jonathan. Don't go anywhere. So we're going to talk about how to achieve a balanced family life in 15 minutes. And I'm excited about this topic because it is something I'm very passionate about myself. It is one of my core values in running my business and living my life. Thank you so much, Jonathan. I appreciate that. So, this is why I'm very, very passionate about this topic. I'm so passionate about it and try to live it that I was working this morning and didn't even prepare for today's live show. And 10 minutes before the live, I'm like, okay, let me just jot something down, just jot down my bullet points quickly because it is something I live and I feel competent and I feel, how should I say, competent. I feel competent enough. Being a mom, running her business from home, married, and having 4 kids, I feel extremely competent enough to teach anyone how to achieve a balanced family life. So let's get going. I want to start by asking a few questions. And I want you to consider these questions. If you have to take it down, write them down. If you have to rewatch this live training, rewatch it and actually do the steps. The first thing I want to ask you is how many of you watching me live, or perhaps you're watching the replay, and you feel like you have a need to have a more balanced family life? And if you've been following me for a while, so it's now 12:04. If you've been following me for a while, then you know that I always say that honesty is the first step to change. So be honest with yourself. If you don't want to share it in the comments, that's perfectly fine. You know the answer. Do you honestly feel like somewhere I do need to have a more balanced family life? Yes or no? So that's the first thing you need to ask yourself before you get into the 5 steps that I'm going to give you. Then I want you to ask yourself what has been typically stopping you from creating the balance that you want. So when you look at your life right now, you're not going into my 5 steps yet. You're just having that brain dump. You know what's already at the top of mind. You know what's your, I'm getting a yes. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. You know what's already top of mind for you. You know what has been stopping you. from achieving that balanced family life. You can just snap it off your fingertips like this. Oh, I know it's work. I know it's my dance classes. I know it's whatever it is. I don't know. It's the gym. Perhaps I spend so many hours in the gym, 3 hours in the gym. I don't know what it is, but you know what it is. Right away, just jot that down. What has been stopping you from creating the balance that you want? And do you want to make that shift in your life right now? Are you serious about making that shift in your life? And if you're serious about making that shift in your life right now, just write yes on the paper. Write yes in the comments. You are very serious, because one of the first things into actually experiencing a shift is to be in the affirmative, acknowledging that I need to make that change and put it out there. Yes, I'm ready to make that change right now. So now I'm going to give you just 5 steps on how to achieve a balanced family life. And step one, I want you to write a statement about what your family means to you. So, for those of you watching me live or even watching the replay, we have different family mix, family dynamics. How many people are in your family? Perhaps for you it's just three. Perhaps for someone else it's four. Perhaps for someone else it's five or six, eight or 12. I was reading, I belong to a group on Facebook, and this lady was sharing a beautiful story. She and her husband, they're running business together, and they have 12 kids running their business together, and it's really, really awesome. So we have different family mix. For you, what's your family structure? I want you to write down. So write that question down, and you could answer it later. Write a statement about what your family means to you. And how would it feel to you if you didn't have those loved ones in your life right now? So if your wife's name is Janet, if she wasn't in your life right now, John, if he wasn't in your life right now, Gabriel, your daughter, if she wasn't in your life right now, what would that do to you? How would you feel about that? And I know this is going to stir very strong feelings, but there's a reason behind this. Because the reason behind this is that sometimes it takes stirring those strong emotions, because remember, we are created emotional beings. And many times it takes, for most people, the majority of people, it takes them to experience some sort of event or some sort of strong emotion to be pushed within, to have that internal push to make a change. So when you have a think about that and recognize how you would feel if they weren't wrong right now, that is going to stir some strong emotions for you. But here's what it's also going to do for you as you proceed with this exercise. You are going to raise your vibration, and you're going to raise your degree of love, attachment, and appreciation towards those loved ones. So by so doing, you're starting this exercise off with the right energy and the right focus. You're starting it off with a great sense of appreciation and a great sense of value, an acknowledgement of that value, an acknowledgement of the love that you have for those loved ones in your life. And when you start this exercise off with on that vein, then you're able to make the changes you need to make to have a more balanced family life. Does that make sense to you? Because you're going to reconnect strongly within with what is most important with you. Because you find many times we slip because we lose that connection. I'm not saying that those you're thinking, oh, they're not important to me, that's why I'm overworking. No, that is not the case. But quite often, the emotion and love for our family members is there. But other things come and take priorities in life because, hey, this is life. I remember when I worked as an assistant human resource manager, and it took so much of my time. Sometimes I had to go to work the Saturday, and I had to do overtime. It's life. You have the demands of the job and certain projects that must be completed on time, and certain things take precedence, and we allow it to take precedence in our life. It's not that we don't love them, we still love them. But when you want to achieve a balanced family life, you've got to bring to the surface, resurface that strong connection, that strong attachment and sense of appreciation for those loved ones in your life. Then you go to step two, and I want you to perform Zig Ziglar's Wheel of Life exercise. So you have one circle, and in the middle it's you, and then you draw a circle around that, and then you put the different life categories. So you put career, financial, spiritual, physical, intellectual, social. What am I missing? I think that's it. Career, financial, spiritual, physical, intellectual, family, social, and of course you in the middle. And then you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 for each of those categories. So when you go through the categories, you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. And then you're able to identify which aspects in your life, which categories, areas in your life are out of balance. So family for sure might be there. You realize social might be there. You realize spiritual might be there. And you identify those areas. Once it is 7 or less, it is an area that needs to be examined. So you identify those categories. Then step 3, you get your journal out. Now, if you've been following me, you know I always talk about journaling. Get your journal out. And I want you to journal about what a balanced family life looks like to you. What does a balanced family life look like to you? What are you doing more of when you have a balanced family life? Are you doing more exercising, more walks with the family, times by the lake? Are you spending time for personal development training? I mean, perhaps when I say personal development training, it could just be a book. You find a time during the day, you schedule 15 minutes in the day. That is my personal development time, 30 minutes or however long. What are you doing more of when you have a balanced family life? What are you doing less of? Are you doing less binging of television? Are you doing less social media, for instance? Of course, it's all well and good to use social media, but there are some persons we spend hours, and we forget what we have to do. And we're on social media scrolling because it's very easy to get caught up and find ourselves scrolling. What are you doing less of? This is just for an example purposes. What are you doing less of? With whom? A balanced family life you're journaling about. Who is with you? Who is enjoying that with you? How are you feeling having that balanced family life? How are you feeling now that your family is in balance? Everything is, your life is more balanced. How are you feeling? And how does doing these things make you feel? What about self care? Because balanced family life, you in the middle of it. If you look at Zig Ziglar's Wheel of Life, you at the center of it. You cannot give from an empty cup, and we've all heard that saying. So, what about self care? What are you doing more of? What are you doing less of? So, you journal about what a balanced family life looks like to you. Step 4, you recognize your power to choose. This is an important step because even if you've done all this, even if you reconnected with your loved ones emotionally and in the spirit, and you acknowledge how much they mean to you, and you've done your wheel of life, you know where your life is out of sync, and you've journaled about what a balanced family life looks like to you in detail, more specific. But if you don't recognize your power to choose, there'll be no change. You have the power to choose, regardless of the demands that are put on you. You have the power to choose. And I just want to read a very brief excerpt. And if you've been following me, you know I love to share my books, right? So this one is by Bridget Grenville Cleave. It's just a pocket book on achieving lasting happiness, but there's lots of great information inside. And she says various studies suggest that feeling that we can control our destiny is vital to our psychological well-being, and that limiting personal choice reduces well-being. There is no doubt that over the past 20 or 30 years, we've been seduced by the power of choice to the point that most of us take it for granted and don't really give it a second thought. Choice means we have freedom, it means we can express who we are as individuals, and it's central to our identity. I repeat, it is central to our identity. So, recognizing that you have the power to choose. Once you've done the exercise, you discover the areas of your life that are out of sync. Once you've done the exercise and you've discovered what a balanced family life looks like to you from your journaling exercise, then you're going to make that decision to choose right now. You're going to identify those things you need to do less of. And if it means less overtime, then you're going to say to your boss, if you have to in a respectable way, that you're no longer able to do overtime every single day of the week. You've got to put your foot down. If it means you have to do less of chatting with that negative person, then you're going to put those boundaries in place and let them know, hey, you can no longer just keep calling me up at any time and expect me to stay on the phone with you 30 minutes and it's all negative because it's affecting you as a person and your ability to live a happy life. So you recognize your power to choose, and your last step will involve Identifying based on those results from the wheel of life and the insights from your journal, identifying two things that you're going to change right now to have a balanced family life. There you go. So we started at 12:04. It's 11 minutes. 5 steps to achieve a balanced family life. And I can guarantee you that these 5 steps, if you take the time to do the exercise, is going to give you a great insight. And then you know exactly what it is you need to do and live your life in alignment. So here's the thing. Many of us, we know, okay, perhaps you've been overworking. Perhaps maybe, I don't know, you've been spending a lot of time at the gym. Just as an example, and you know, okay, I need to have a more balanced family life, and we talk about it, but we're not able to do anything about it because you haven't gone through these steps. So when you actually sit down to do that inner work and go through those different steps, and you're able to come up with that picture, when you journal about it, what a balanced family life looks like to you, you have a vision in your mind. You've given your brain something to work with rather than just an idea of a balanced family life. So you have an idea of a balanced family life, but you've never sat down and set the specific details of what that balanced family life looks like to you. Spending more time with the kids from 5 to 6 in an evening from school, doing drawing or coloring with them, making time from 6 to 7 or 6 to 6:45 to go for a jog, self-care, making time for 20 minutes sitting out in the back garden with Huzzy or your loved one. What is your picture of that balanced family life? What is that detailed picture? When you journal about it and coming out of the wheel of life and you bring all those steps together, then that last thing, you're going to come up with two things you're going to do right now to change, to make that change immediately and achieve a more balanced family life. How does that sound? Let me know how that sounds to you. So as I leave you, here's what I want to say. Take some time out today. If any of you watching this video live or any of you watching the replay, and achieving a balanced family life is something that you've gotten that intuition, and you know I've been speaking about that this week, using your intuition, listening to your intuition, because your intuition is that universal guidance, is that God is communicating with you via your intuition, and it's pricking you and telling you what you need to do. And if you've been feeling intuitively for quite some time now that I need to create a more balanced family life, this 5 step process is a great one to help you to do so. Don't procrastinate it. Don't say, I'm going to do it tomorrow, I'm going to do it this weekend, because again, other things are going to take precedence. Make some time today. All you need is about 30 minutes. Make some time today. And that 30 minutes can change the rest of your life forever and create more memorable memories. Right? So thank you so much for joining me live today, Shantorial, Jonathan, for those of you watching on Facebook. Thank you very much for being with me. I want to wish you an awesome day, a fantastic day, and I'll talk with you again tomorrow. Right? Do the exercise and make those changes now. Bye for now.